Hello and welcome to 1111 with Kirsty Olive. In this episode, I'm going to be talking with Branka, who is a divine feminine channel for Mother Mary. Now, this was a podcast that I just really enjoyed recording, and I felt just such a powerful, I don't know how to describe, but I'm sure you're going to feel it too. It was just beautiful. It was really amazing. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope you enjoy hearing from Branka and also from Mother Mary herself. Namaste. So welcome, Branka. I'm so excited to have you on, and especially the topic that you're going to be chatting to us about is something that I'm really excited about, something that I love myself, and I know that all of the women listening will love to hear some more from you on this. So do you want to start off by telling us, first of all, a little bit about yourself, and then also about the topic we're going to be talking about today?
Of course. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It is really lovely to be here with you. Hello, everyone. I am Branka Valcic. And let's say in my professional capacity, I serve as a full body channel for Mother Mary. And I basically work with her. She works through me with women to, remember the beauty and the purity of who they are and the love that, we all are. And especially, she works with women who were raised Catholic on sort of letting go and embracing with love the guilt and the shame that we feel about our body and our sexuality. So, we can live as free, fulfilled, just these goddesses that we are. Yeah, so the topic that Kirsty and I have agreed upon that is also so close to my heart is the topic of self-love. And we wanted to bring Mother Mary in as well because she has been like my strongest ally in developing that self-love for myself. Because let me tell you, before that, there was that constant stream of criticism that most of us have grown up with. So it's just been absolutely amazing, really powerful, really deep journey with her. And I'm just so grateful and really happy to share, what is mine to share for you guys.
I was really excited when we were talking about like different topics when you mentioned this one, because it's something that I'm really strongly working with myself at the moment, self-love, Mother Mary, and more specifically, like getting help from Mother Mary to like release and to just let go of emotions and grief and tears. And it's been really powerful for me. And it's something that I'm sharing with, the goddesses in my groups a lot. So it's something that I definitely, I want to hear more of, I want to experience more of, I want to talk about. So I'd love to hear, like, how did you get on this path? How did you begin to work with Mother Mary?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'll try to keep it short. A big question. You know how she is. I mean, she calls us to her. So, although I wasn't conscious of her for a very long time, and I myself grew up Catholic, and I ran away from religion like as soon as I could, like in my teenage years. And so I did not like Mother Mary at all the way, I was like, no. And so I ran away from all that. And then, but I always had questions. I always had problems. I always had, suffered from depression, this, that, body aches, all kinds of things, and searching. Yes. And so, I actually, like you, I'm a Kundalini yoga instructor as well. So that was like part of my path. And that's where, I opened up to divine feminine and, the Kundalini and all that. And I was starting to that really resonated with me. And, I was on the path of self-love myself. And there was a lot of sort of initiations that I wasn't aware of, different things that happened and all that. And so there was this, after a concussion that I had, that most people would just recover, and I basically ended up being in bed for 2 months. I couldn't do anything whatsoever. I kind of had this pretty big awakening, and afterwards I got cards, those oracle cards. They were the keepers of light, and I asked, who is with me? And I pulled out Mother Mary card, and I was like, okay, I actually didn't even know Mother Mary in English, so I was like, oh, okay, beautiful card, really feeling this love and everything, but I have no idea who she is. It's okay. But day after day, I asked who is with me and pulled the same card. And I was like, okay, then I Googled Mother Mary, and it was so this Catholic stuff, and I was like, no, not that.
It's interesting that you say that, because I live in Ireland, so it's a very religious country, and so there's often, I find because I talk very openly about God, about Jesus, about Mother Mary, and you really get one or two reactions, on the one hand, people will just be all really drawn to it and really resonate. But then on the other hand, some people I'll be like, oh God, Jesus, Mother Mary, because they're trying to move away from maybe that organized religion that they've been brought up in. And then they hear you saying these same words, and there's a bit of resistance there in the beginning until they kind of realize that there's a whole other way to experience Mother Mary than just within the organized religion.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, I know. I mean, I was just finished reading Ellen Coyne's book. So I grew up in Croatia, and we're also very traditionally Catholic. But I do have to say that one of the things that Mary afterwards, I'll finish my story in a bit, but that she, really worked with me to, embrace. Not that I would say that I'm a Catholic or that I go to the church if that doesn't work for me, but there can't be love, that unconditional love, if there is still towards that. So that was a big process for me to learn to love that as well. And just kind of see it for what it is and what it brings to people. And kind of let go of my own and heal my own wounds and let go of my own preconceptions and stuff like that. But at any rate, I got an email from Daily Om about a course called Falling in Love with Yourself, and I immediately bought it. I was like, yeah, that's my topic, and I just bought it, and I opened it up, and it was by Mother Mary from a channel, Danielle Gibbons from the States, and I was like, you're kidding me, right? And so that was that. I started listening to this, and then I just was like tears and all that. I came home. I really was like, okay, I came home. And then it was kind of from there that, I was conscious. She's in my life. And then we started working from there. Yeah.
So what is the kind of work that you do now with Mother Mary?
So we do basically, when we do individual sessions, then she comes through me and she speaks through me, which was one of the things that it took some getting used to. So there is her energy, yes, but the energy comes within me, into my body, and it took me a while to be able to allow for her to speak through me, to really surrender to that. Okay, yes, this is okay. It's happening. I'm, worth it or whatever, for this to be happening. And, then she speaks through me to people she works with. And basically through that energy and transmission and her speaking to people, they get to, work on releasing different beliefs, working with their own energies, getting in touch with, their souls and what they actually really want. And they get to feel her, which I think is the most important part, is they feel that love and they feel how unconditionally they're loved and how, she mirrors that for them, that acceptance, that love, that, that it's okay, that they're fine. And so, yeah, they bring, whatever problems they have. And of course, she will work with them on all levels of their being, like on all the different energy levels. And of course, like the important part of their intention in it, but she of course knows what's for their highest good. So she brings that in as well. So that's, yeah, I know, I just love these sessions. They're so beautiful and so amazing. We do also record things, and, so there are different courses and, things like that we do together. And I facilitate the Mother Mary Circle of Love for her, and, lead Sea Goddesses journeys, and, different kinds of things, different programs, different venues, for people, whatever resonates with them. Yeah, but that's kind of it.
Something that you said that really stood out to me from what you were saying there is just that they can feel it, because I feel like for me personally, like throughout my entire journey, it's like when I can feel something is when it's most powerful, like I can read something, I can be told something, I can hear something. But when you're getting that like direct experience and that direct feeling of it, like in your own body, I feel like it's just a completely different level, like that to me, like when I feel something, that's when I know. Whereas I can read it or hear it a million times, yeah, but I don't believe it until like I'm feeling it, and then I'm like, okay, I get this now.
Yeah, I'm totally the same. And that's why it's been, wherever it's like, if it's in my head, it's just in my head. Yeah, if you feel it, and then you really, like you say, it, like deep within yourself, it, and then that's that. So yeah.
So powerful, so powerful. And like how did you develop this, like, channeling with Mother Mary? Because it just sounds, so amazing, but something that like I've never actually spoke one-on-one with somebody who's a channel before. So I'm really just interested to know, like, how did this even begin to happen, really,
Yeah, right. So I mean, like you, right? Like working, and through Kundalini yoga, which for me was really kind of a step towards opening these different pathways within me. But, then working with her through other channels. And I felt, even before I started working with her, I felt within my soul how I am here to be this bridge between, spirit and earth, and how I'm here to channel. I felt like I felt that, I knew that within myself. I didn't know who, I just felt that. And there was somebody who was doing like coaching for like voice channeling and stuff like that. So I took some of those coaching lessons, where she helped as well kind of feel. And she would say, yes, you are channeling now. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I feel that. It's like so cool. And, just let that voice, just let it come out. So, but at some point, as I was like working with Mary through another channel, and we were going really deep into different past lifetimes and, my wounds and stuff like that. And so I was just really like deep in there. And it just came to me. I was walking in the forest, and I was, walking, I was talking to her and communing with her and all that. And then it just suddenly hit me. oh my God, it's her. I'm here to channel her. And I totally freaked out. I have to tell you, I just completely was like, no. Okay, we can do anything, but we're not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
no way. And so basically for me, it was a process. It was, thankfully, I've already had, sort of several years of like communing with her on my own. I would sit down and I would commune with her and feel her energy, and I would ask and I would receive answers. I would write and I would, write her answers to me. So there was a relationship that I have built with her.
It wasn't like completely out of the blue or anything. You already had that relationship.
Exactly, right. So it wasn't like, what was out of the blue was that the first time when I allowed it in a session, because I was doing these sessions with people, just kind of, breathing, yoga, this, that, and the other. And, it was thankfully with my like dear friend, all of a sudden, it was like beloved one. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, she definitely had me practice, letting go, because there was that mind trying to prevent it from happening and trying to like intervene with letting it, so as soon as there were, there are things that I would never say pretty much, right? But the mind would be like, we're not saying that, we're not, definitely not. So yeah, she had me channel like and record myself, and then listen. And then that was what you said, like to feel it. So then you know it. So you bypass, like maybe not bypass, you overcome your doubts.
That mental resistance almost.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So I would listen to me channeling her on through a recording, and I would be feeling, and I'd be like that. My mind would be like, whoa, this is really happening. So it was a process for sure. And then, kind of coming out more and more and saying that, I was really afraid to say it. And, in the world, what are people going to say? Like what you were saying, even just mentioning Mother Mary, you get those two reactions. And now you say this.
I also know as well, so like my life has been changed through teachings that have been channeled. But like I didn't channel them, just other people, yeah. Like a few really like well-known famous ones. Have you heard of Abraham Hicks? Yeah, yes. Like most of us have, yeah. But like my life was just completely changed by those teachings. Like they transformed me and my life in the biggest way, like more than any other teaching that I've ever experienced. And I still just listen to those teachings all the time, and they have such a massive impact on me. But I also have these like memories maybe of when I've tried to explain about these channeled texts and teachings to other people who are maybe not as open-minded or just don't have any experience with the spiritual. And they're just completely like, okay, well, they're obviously just like lying. They're obviously just acting like it's complete lies, and I'm like, no, like it's not, like I can feel it, like I can feel when I listen to these teachings, like I can feel the truth of them, like I can feel that it is my truth when I'm listening to this, that it's aligned with me, that it's right, and they've impacted so many other people. But I think when you say channeled to some people, there's just this, like, if they don't have any direct experience with it, there can just be this such strong like disbelief or resistance to it almost.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel, that whole thing of faking it, right? Who's to say that it's really true? And so I usually say, I can't convince you. Like, you're either going to feel it yourself and then it will be your truth as well, or you're not. And then you might say, okay, this one, that doesn't work for me. You may even say that I'm a liar or whatever. But, but for me, that was an important part of my growth as well, for sure. And, one of the things that I am channeling a book for Mary now. I'm so excited. It's like Mother Mary's story in her own words. So, but basically at the beginning of it, she talks about how she really wants to take out any mystery, about any of these things. Like it's that whole, oh, it's mysterious. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's not mysterious. We all divine children. We all have the capacity to be connected to the source, to God, and to all of our guides and whoever is in our lineage. And we all have that. We all have the capacity to heal. I mean, not all of us choose to do that, or to really bring that through, but we all have that capacity. And I think it's that I'm not special just because I can do this. I can't, there are so many things that I can't do at all, but this one I can't, and it's awesome. And I'm really happy that I can do it. But it really definitely does not make me special. And this was one of the really important things that Mary constantly was like imparting on me, that humility. You're not like, because they're like, oh my God, Mary, but I can't. I mean, it's like, that, it should be like, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. It's just like, it's something that your soul wanted to do. This was, this is part of your journey. Come back to your heart, and that's that.
Yeah. I love that idea of taking the mystery out of it, because I think, like, especially right now in the world, we've been almost like conditioned to be disconnected from ourselves, from our heart, and like disconnected from the divine in us almost. Like, of course we are always connected, but we just can't see it, because we've been conditioned to believe that all of that stuff is not real, or that it's woo-woo, as some people call it, and so it gives this impression of being like really mysterious, when in actual fact, like that stuff, like that kind of spiritual side of yourself is the most natural and easy flowing part of who you are, when we just begin to actually turn off the external noise, like the TVs and the phones and stuff like that, and just go inwards. It's actually the easiest part of everything.
Yes, you're totally right. Yes, I totally agree. And that's our nature.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful.
So amazing to be able to, like, because as I said, like I've followed like certain channels, like channelers for a while, Abraham Hicks for years. Also, I don't know if you've heard of Paul Selig.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I been following him and his stuff for years as well. And I just find that like anytime I'm listening to like either of those, like they just change me. Like it's not as if even it's happening on a conscious level, like, oh, I'm going to go out and do this, I'm going to go and try this. Like I feel that it's internally changing me, through listening to these teachings just again and again. And it's amazing, because I've always thought like, oh, I have so many questions, like how did this happen, or how does it feel? So it's great to actually be able to get to chat to you, and especially because it's that you're channeling Mother Mary, which is, I'm all about the divine feminine and this kind of stuff. So like I think that it's really amazing to just be able to chat to you and have this opportunity to kind of get that experience, and hear from yourself about what that's like.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad. I feel like, of course, she brought us together, and I think it's really important to talk about it, because that demystifies the whole thing. Because if I were to say, oh, it just happened, and I don't know, then I am very much on this earth. I was a scientist, and, my husband is like with his 2 feet, like very strongly on the earth. I have my 2 dogs, I have my boat, all these things, which, for a while were like, how can it be a channel for Mother Mary if I'm so earthly, and all these kinds of things. No, this is a big advantage, because, that's me. I'm like so many other people. And there is this, and it is beautiful, and it is like what you said. And you asked me before, like how when she works with others, it's exactly that. I don't even know, and thank God I don't know. I don't need
Yeah.
to know. So she just does her thing, and it happens the way it happens, and people just receive what they need to receive, and that's a beautiful gift. Yeah, we are really so blessed to have her. Oh my God, and that she's coming more and more strongly, more powerfully. So it's awesome.
Like, what do you think are some of like the main messages or the main teachings that Mother Mary has given to you, like to share?
Mm, mm. Well, would you like her to say a few words?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. Hmm. Beloved ones, oh, it is so beautiful to be here with you. So beautiful. I am Mother Mary, and I am in each and every one of your hearts. And I am always with you, always. So my main message to you is that you are so loved, unconditionally loved. There is no God who judges you. I never judge you. You are a precious child of light and love. And I'm always, always loving you, no matter what you do, no matter how you feel, no matter what you think. And you can never, ever push me or God out of your life, out of your heart. Just may take a little bit of practice to feel that love, to allow it in your heart, because it has been hidden for many of you naturally out of fear. But love is real, and love is the most powerful force in the universe. And I invite you, beloved ones, to really, really practice self-love, to really let yourself love yourself, love yourself, love your body, let yourself off the hook, and just be who you are. You are unique. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be who you are, which doesn't mean that you won't strive to grow and evolve, raise your consciousness. But you can definitely let yourself off the hook and just be who you are and know that you're so loved. So if you wish, you can close your eyes if you haven't already, and you can breathe into your heart. And I'm sending you my rose light of unconditional divine mother love from my heart to your heart. To help you feel my love, to help you feel your love. Call on me, beloved one. Whenever you wish, I'm always by your side. I always hear you. Ask to feel my love more deeply, because then you will be able to feel it more deeply. I'm always loving you. Always loving you. Well, that feels complete. It's me, Branka. Although I can still feel, of course, the rose light, and it's sometimes quite hard to come out of it.
Wow.
How was that?
It's amazing. I just felt this complete softening almost of like in my chest and full body, as if like there was maybe a tension there that I didn't even realize was there previously. And this just completely softened that and let that go, I think that it's something that's been coming up a lot with me and a lot of the women that I work with is self-forgiveness and self-compassion, and I think just hearing when you said like let yourself off the hook, it's just something that we all need to hear, because we're all so hard on ourselves,
Oh, we so are. Yes. Yeah. And I so admire the work that you're doing with women on that. And I saw that you just announced the Selflove Club for the month of October. Just wonderful. And women will I just feel how they'll receive all these beautiful practices that they can just really bring into their lives to really,
it's been such a big theme for me at the moment is like self-love and sharing with other women, because we sometimes just need to be reminded to even take care of ourselves and to practice self-compassion, So when I was thinking of this kind of club for October, I was like, if we do it together, and hold each other accountable and remind each other and support each other, like it's going to be even more powerful than just doing it on our own, because it's so easy. Like one thing that I'm always noticing is if we're doing it on our own, it'll get to day 3 or 4 and oh, we're too busy, we'll just forget, or something will crop up, or we just don't really get as into it. But like when we're doing it together and supporting each other, especially as women, like the energy is just so much more powerful.
Yes, beautiful, just beautiful. And I know like Mary will be with you all, of course. And it's just, to me, like hearing it from her, it's just like, oh yes, okay.
And it's interesting because like hearing you say those words as well, like Mother Mary say those words through you, like it's exactly what I said is like it's not just hearing the words, like it's feeling the words in here, and there's a big difference between just like reading a text or hearing someone speak something to you and what you're doing there, which is like, as I said, like that softening happening inside of me as you're speaking, like I can feel that like emotional and physical aspect of the words that you're saying, almost as if like the words are coming, but it's something else is happening underneath,
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and powerful. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for receiving it.
Wow. Nice to have you on. So is there kind of anything at the moment, like in relation to like self-love or self-care that you would like to share with us, or any kind of wisdom or any techniques or tips that you can share with us?
Yes, I'd love to just share like this one thing that like really helps me, a little thing that you may maybe do yourself as well. But like for me, it's just, kind of waking up and first thoughts being, going through my body and just thanking or saying good, like, good morning. It just depends on like what mood I'm in, oh, good morning, head. Thank you. Good morning, eyes. Thank you. And just going through the different parts of my body even before I get up. And it just makes me relax, and my body to relax and just to kind of come together. Mind, body, heart. Yeah. And it just like relaxes my body, and it just makes my day so much better. Just this little thing makes, for me at least, such a huge difference.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to notice as well, is that sometimes like people think that self-care or self-love has to be like these big extravagant things, or these things that are difficult to do, but something as simple as just, going through your body and saying hello, or just saying like thank you, or like I'm so grateful for you. Like one that I often share in my womb healing program is I get the women to kind of give themselves a massage with oils, but as they're, say, massaging their feet, they're looking at their feet. They haven't got the TV on in the background. They're looking at their feet and they're saying like, thank you so much for supporting me, for carrying me every day, even when I'm tired, and to do this and go through every single part of their body, just giving a massage and saying like, thank you, legs, for carrying me and being my strength, and the impact that it has. And it only takes like 10 to 15 minutes, but actually we sometimes just forget how much our bodies actually do for us. We treat them so harshly sometimes, and by taking that little bit of time to, even as you said, like first thing in the morning, just go through your body and say hello. It's just that way of like reconnecting you like back in to your body.
Yes, it is. And it's beautiful what you share. Yes. And I do that as well. And it's that consciousness, isn't it? And it's consciousness together with the touch that I feel awakens that love in the heart. Because you're just doing it automatically, then you're not conscious of the touch, and there isn't that something, the magic that happens, that then kind of like, whoa, at some point you go like, oh my God, look how beautiful my feet are. They really are, wow. And so on, right, for the different parts that we may not particularly like about ourselves.
Yeah, I think especially like as women in the world right now, like we can be so harsh on our bodies without actually remembering like how much our body is supporting us and working for us and working together to keep us alive in every moment and to keep us strong and healthy, and it's just absolutely amazing when we just take a little bit of time to remember that, like to remember how supported we actually are by our own bodies.
Yes, definitely. And another thing that's just coming to me as you speak is, this, because we are working on ourselves, yes, and there are all these different things and, techniques and practices and this and that. We also, at least I know for myself, I would tend to expect, more of myself and like, results or this, or, oh my God, and now I need to do that now, and I need to do this now because and so there is the underlying level of judgment, yes, in all that I'm still not good enough. So I think that the important thing to keep in mind when we do any of these things is that we are more than good enough. We just don't remember that. And we're sort of working to remind ourselves and to, kind of awaken that within ourselves, that we are more than good enough, absolutely. And that we don't have to do all the practices, and we don't have to, if there is a bad day, there is a bad day, that's fine too. So,
and there will be bad
well.
days.
Absolutely.
Like, not if there is, there definitely will be, because we're only human,
Yes, exactly. We're human. Yes, we are so human. And that's part that really, when Mary says, let yourself off the hook, that resonates with me. Like, hey, you are human, be human, it's fine. So I think that's an really important part of self-love, sort of catching ourselves when we are being harsh on ourselves, when we're judging ourselves, and just speaking perhaps with ourselves, saying, it's okay, it's totally fine.
I was actually having a very similar conversation last night on one of the lives for my womb healing program, because we went through like a stage of just each sharing something, and one of the women said, oh, I know that I should have done this week. And I said straight away, okay, I need to stop you. I'm going to ban the word should, because when you say the word should, it tells me that you're comparing yourself either to somebody else or to this fantasy version of yourself that you think should exist but doesn't exist, because we're only human, and like when we say should, that word tells me that we're judging ourselves. Like if you say, oh, I should have done this, it means you're judging yourself because you didn't do it, instead of like facing the reality and being like, well, I didn't do that because of this reason, I was too busy, but next week I'm going to try and do it differently.
Yes. Yes. Totally agree.
And it comes up a lot, that's why I always, I'm going to ban the word should anytime I hear you say the word should.
Yes, and it's those little words that and that actually, this is good maybe for listeners as well to think about. There are these words that we say, so being a little more aware of what we say, and then seeing, yeah, that was actually harsh or judgmental or something. But then again, don't judge yourself for judging yourself as well.
It's definitely an endless loop, isn't it?
Oh,
I think just being a little bit easier with ourselves though, and realizing like we're never going to get it perfect.
No,
never ever. Like there's always going to be more stuff that we can, if we wanted to, there's always going to be more stuff that we could find about ourselves, or deeper that we could find stuff, but just realizing that like, hey, at least I'm trying, like at least I'm on the journey.
Yeah, I'm trying, I'm doing the best I can. And, perhaps I could also be learning and growing through joy and pleasure, allowing ourselves that, abundance and all those things that, it doesn't need to be all hard.
There was like a time on my own journey, this was like after I had suffered from a breakdown, and I just was trying so hard to heal that there was no joy in my life at all. Like there was no pleasure in my life, no joy in my life, like no laughter, no fun, like even stuff that previously I would have laughed at. I was just like this, so serious, like the only thing that matters to me right now is to focus on my healing and to get better, to the point where I just didn't even allow myself like even the tiniest bit of pleasure in my life. And it came to a point where I realized that I was trying so hard to heal that I was almost doing the opposite of healing. I was reading all the books, going to all the classes, speaking to the counselor, but what's the point in all of that if you're not allowing yourself to have any pleasure or fun or laughter in your life, And I realized that actually through kind of taking a step back from doing all of the different things to heal and actually stepping into more pleasurable things like hiking out in nature or swimming in the sea or just putting a funny movie on and just letting myself laugh until I cried. Like those were actually the stuff that healed me the most. You know, just allowing myself to feel pleasure again is what really healed me the most.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm getting goosebumps all over as you speak. Absolutely. Oh my God, I totally agree. Very similar story, mine to yours. And it is, I mean, what is the purpose of all of this if, our lives are still miserable? So, I did kind of stop and I was like, okay, so what did really change from before to now? you know? So, yeah, that joy and allowing ourselves that pleasure is just so important. Oh, it's like you said, I think it's the most important thing. Really, it is. Yeah.
Even like the smallest things, but like sometimes we forget when we've been through a trauma or abuse or, something that's really, really like ripped us to pieces. It's almost like we forget that there's pleasure in the world. We become so disconnected from pleasure that we just don't know how to laugh anymore. We don't know how to experience it anymore. We're so fearful that we just couldn't imagine like the self that used to laugh. We're like, who was that person? Like how was she so carefree and full of laughter? I can't even imagine that now, and I really think that a big part of like healing from trauma is just learning how to play and to laugh and to have fun again.
Yes, to have that trust again. Because like in trauma, like we're really wounded, we're really hurting, and we put all these like walls so we protect ourselves. So to kind of like allow ourselves slowly to start trusting ourselves, trusting the world. It's not easy. It's not, I mean, you look around, why would I trust, So that's why it's beautiful, the work that you do and the work that I do with Mary and so many other beautiful healing. Just there is so much beautiful healing that is occurring, and I feel collectively really healing a lot of trauma as well. So then once we kind of, go through that tender stage, and then we can move towards the joy and allowing ourselves that those simple pleasures. I mean, you mentioned that watching a movie. I mean, I remember I was like, I'm not going to watch a movie. And even that, like, it's also not, once you kind of go onto this, what they call the spiritual path. Yeah. Like, it's like, anything that's not spiritual, all of a sudden, like I'm not doing, and it's like, no, I am. I want to, it gives me pleasure. It's fun and good. It's good.
It's almost like that judgment coming back, like, oh, I shouldn't be wasting my time watching a movie, like if that movie brings you pleasure and you enjoy it, then why not, but it's just that voice that comes in.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But it's just such an amazing time right now where there's so many women, like just stepping forward and supporting each other through this healing. I feel like when I was on my healing journey that I just wasn't really connected to this network of divine feminine and of goddesses and women that is actually out there. So I felt very like isolated and as if I was going through that journey like alone until I kind of found my connection really strongly to the divine and to my angels and stuff. But I still felt as if like, in the world, I was like, I don't have like a connection to anybody who understands or who can support me. I had the spiritual connection, but I was kind of lacking it like in the world. And it's just amazing right now that there is so many women who are coming together to just openly like support each other and share their experiences and their wisdom and their gifts and their knowledge. And it's just like magical to be a part of it and to witness how much things are really moving in that direction.
Yes, Yes, absolutely. You're so right. And I feel, I feel like this coming together, it's just, it gives me so much joy coming back to that. Yeah. Like my whole body just like feels this joy like bubbling. And like you said as well, for me, I felt alone. And and for a while as well, I felt like everybody's kind of trying to do their thing. It's like, no, like together, together we can lift each other up. And it's actually interesting. Just recently I was in a really, really lovely circle with one woman and myself. And I was channeling Mother Mary and she was channeling Mary Magdalene. And the two of them were, you're saying how much they love working together and how, they would like to see that more in the world as well. So it's because there's all that sort of Mary Magdalene healings, and then there's Mother Mary kind of, she's getting more, she's coming more powerfully and everything. But, it's like together, imagine what that is like. Whoa.
Wow. Just so powerful. Thank you so much for coming and for sharing this. I feel like from the beginning of this, like my energy has just, I've got this big smile on my face and I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. It's gotten me like really just excited. And as you said, that joy in your body that comes from these just open conversations with other women, it's just so powerful. So thank you so much, Branka, for coming on today. And I'd love, do you want to tell everybody who's listening, like where they can find you, where they can link up with you in future?
Yes. So thank you so much for having me. Yes, like you say, like it's been such a lovely time. And I just felt like I also have my smile on my face. Yes, dear ones listening, if you want to connect with me, just hop onto my website. I don't know, Kirsty, if you'll like write in the description my website. Yeah, so it's basically my first name, my last name, .com. And you could just hop onto my website, and there is all different kinds of things you can look through, but there is a subscription button, so you can subscribe. I do weekly Mother Mary messages through that, and then of course you can like receive any news and any offerings and stuff like that. Yes, I feel really great connection with you, Kirsty. I really feel a connection with your listeners as well. So yeah, it's been really an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. For those who are listening and aren't watching the video, we both just got the biggest smiles on our faces right now. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, Branka, and definitely we'll do this again sometime.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.